Hey, Fanboy Nation.
This is your pal Daffy Duck, and you're watching.
We're watching
You're watching Fanboy.
Fanboy,
A fanboy, etc.
Fanboy Nation.
God, I assume Tom.
I absolutely love this film and hate these gentlemen for making this movie because it's just that damn fun, and I wish I had thought of it. Ken Bressers, Doug Phillips, Paul Tanter, the director, and Simon Phillips. How are you today, gentlemen?
Hey, very good.
Very good, thank you.
My God, Stealing Chaplin, DVD delayed by 2 weeks, coming out May 7th, 2021, loosely based on the actual attempted theft of cinema's greatest comedic genius, Charlie Chaplin.
Right.
Yeah, and that was in 1978, I believe, the year after Chaplin himself passed away.
Yeah, if you can believe it, it's inspired by a true story. So Chaplin died, I think it was Christmas Day, 77, was buried. He lived his final few years in Switzerland, and he was buried there. And a couple of months later, in early 78, two brothers, believe it or not, actually dug him up, stole his body, and had his coffin in their house for several months while they tried to ransom it to the family. And eventually the police caught them because they were slightly inept, and the police managed to track them down to a specific area, and eventually caught them and arrested them, and the body was returned and is now buried back in the same place but under about 20 feet of concrete. And so Simon had this idea knocking around his head for a couple of years, and we knew that it was right for a retelling. Now, we didn't think it necessarily needs to be a sort of a faithful version to something told in 1977, but it would be a good basis for a darkly comedic story. So we decided, let's make it contemporary. Let's choose a city that kind of represents scams and capers and getting rich quick and that kind of thing. And Vegas seemed to be a perfect fit for that. Simon took the idea to Doug, who wrote us a very good script, and Ken very quickly got us all the things we needed in Vegas, and we went and shot it in 10 days.
10 days, that was it?
Yeah. 10 days filming, from beginning to end.
And you got Wayne Newton in the film on top of it.
We did. That was through Ken.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, Ken's got the connections, and he made sure he took you to a state that didn't have income tax or union fees, so it's even better for you guys.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right. Wayne Newton was great. Wayne Newton really is the nicest guy in show business. Not only did he come and do the movie and was great in what he did, and he turned up and had the entire scene down in his head, didn't need sides or anything like that. But also, literally the day we were filming with him in Champagne's Cafe in Vegas, we had just got news that day that the location that we were going to be filming in 2 days beyond, which was a cemetery where we would be digging up the coffin, had pulled out because they didn't want to be associated with a film that was digging up a coffin out of their cemetery, and so they cancelled on us. And we told Wayne that Wayne said, "Oh, how's shooting going?" And we said, "Well, we just lost this cemetery." And he said to us, "Well, why don't you come and shoot in my backyard?" And we sort of laughed a bit and scoffed and said, "Look, I think we need something a bit bigger than a backyard, Wayne, but thank you for the offer." And he said, "Well, look, come and see my backyard and see what you think." So after shooting that day, we went to see his backyard, which is a 27-acre, grassy, wooded horse farm in the middle of Vegas, where he breeds Arabian horses. And so 2 nights later, we were there, but we dotted around a few fake graves. And 2 nights later, we were there digging a very deep hole in the middle of Wayne Newton's perfectly manicured lawn, which I think is still yet to recover fully.
And you've driven the gardener extremely insane by putting holes all over the place.
Right.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, just before I think we started digging, he told Simon, "Geez, I hope you don't hit our sprinkler system."
Yeah, he did.
We didn't, but I can't believe we didn't.
Yeah. And at least we were kind enough to, when we dug the hole, all the earth that we took out of it, we left right next to it. So we said, "Look, you can put that right back in at some point, and that's fine." And then we just ran away.
And Simon, you've been kicking this idea around for a while since you heard about what happened in '78, and then the documentary that came out in 2017. How do you pull your dad, Doug, on board with this and go, hey, Dad, we're going to do a movie about stealing the greatest English comedian ever?
Well,
That's priceless.
well, you know what? I was putting it's time for Dad to go into a home soon. So just before we put him in the home, I thought we should do something funny together. And I thought he'd appreciate this because he was alive when Chaplin was playing in theaters. So basically it was a gift to him in that sense. And what that gift to Doug has turned into a gift for everybody with the great film that is Stealing Chaplin, out on DVD May 4th and streaming. Anyway,
I'm gonna cry. Thank you, son. Thank you.
all right, it's all right, Dad.
Well, you got the bowler hat going and everything already, so you're already dressed for the part.
Well, technically it's a pork pie, but yeah.
From the angle, it looks like a bowler hat. But I have 1 degree of separation from Chaplin. I got to interview his grandson Orson, whose father, which is huge. The fact that I love Charlie Chaplin that much, and then to find out that his father is Ilya Salkind, who was the producer of Superman. That's just 2 degrees separation from 2 of my favorite things, Charlie Chaplin and The Man of Steel. So what's the family's reaction like to hear this? Because they lived through it one time in 78 and his descendants are still around to this day. Have you spoken with any of them, maybe Orson or his mom or anybody else, and seen what the reaction would be to the notion of someone stealing their grandfather yet again?
Well, we talked to the Chaplin Foundation after we shot the movie because we're like that. But because we knew that we probably wouldn't get their consent up front, I'm sure it's not something that they would like. But because, I mean, look, we're not making a very serious, straightforward film. We're arguably, I hope, making a movie that Chaplin would have actually wanted to see. It was sort of, it doesn't take itself too seriously in that sense, and it's light, good-hearted entertainment. So we showed it to them afterwards and they realized that we hadn't been disparaging about their grandfather in any way. So the Chaplin Foundation didn't have any problem with the movie. I don't think they're going to particularly back us on it or anything like that, but they did say, I was like, okay, yeah, that's fine. Sort of, I think that was the best thing that they could say to us was that they wouldn't sue us. That's in Hollywood, that just means they like you.
Well, Paul, I have to mention, I love the quotes of Chaplin that are sporadically placed. Well, not sporadically placed. I'm sorry. Essentially the chapter divides that you use throughout the film, and Stephen Knowles' voiceover as the narrator, as the voice of Chaplin. For a second there, I thought, didn't Christopher Lee pass away in 2015? Because he sounded quite a bit like him.
Oh wow! Well, we'll tell him that. That's a huge compliment. I mean, yeah, he does a really good Chaplin approximation with his voice. I mean, he's a professional voiceover artist, so he's very skilled in that regard. But yes, also the chapter introductions. That was something that when we were editing, it's everything very naturally fell into these sort of chapter moments, and much like as other films have this sort of device. Pulp Fiction uses similar things. It seemed like a perfect way to bookmark the chapters by literally using Chaplin's own words to sort of indicate, or portend what was to come. It's a way to bring in more into the movie, and also to yet another one of our sort of homages to him. The film is very much dotted with little tributes and Easter eggs and that kind of thing to Chaplin. Like, for instance, one of the things is that every single character in this movie is named after either a Chaplin actor or one of the characters from his movies. So we try to put in as many little nods to him as possible, and the chapter introduction seems to be a perfect way to do that.
That's a fantastic Easter egg, and for people that are fans will catch that. I caught something, and so I'm going to blame Ken for this since he's the organizer that put this all together.
Yeah.
Gardner's SUV had an Arizona license plate, not a Nevada one.
That's it. We're canceling the release. We're canceling the release.
Wait a minute. That was Doug's job. Really?
Damn it.
That's my biggie catch. There was one other one I'll say for later, but that's the biggie.
No, you got to tell us now what the other one is.
Well, no, because it comes at the end of the movie, so I can't give a spoiler.
Okay, all right, okay.
Okay.
I'll tell you what. I promised when we do the 4K restoration, we'll fix that. We'll fix that license plate with some VFX.
That's going to cost more than the budget just to change the license plate in the 4K restoration.
I'm upset now.
Yeah.
Never be able to watch it again.
That's it. I've ruined it for everyone. You know, Doug's going to move to Canada now, so he has to avoid the United States altogether. Yeah.
I'm already in Canada.
Oh well, my condolences. You know. Doug, you're a brilliant actor because you have to be that intelligent to play that big of a buffoon. You know, to sit there. Who did you draw inspiration from real life to pull off your character of Terry in Chaplin, in Stealing Chaplin?
Oh, I just played myself.
Yeah. Didn't dwell on Simon from the third grade and said, I remember when he was this neurotic at 9 years old and just stole some of his aspects of not putting his toys away.
Well, I had Simon adopted out when he was very, very young. I didn't want anything to do with him. I couldn't believe when he came back into my life as an adult.
I will say, Doug was very good at writing sort of heightened versions of him and Simon. Yeah. A lot of what you see in the script is based on their relationship. Obviously, they are very good. They have a very good family connection. They're very good, banter together. So what he did was he sort of took that and made something that grew from it. And so the script really plays to those strengths. And then obviously also on set, we would play around with things. Once we'd actually shot the content of the script, then we might do a few takes of we'll play around. I might have an idea I throw to them, or they might have things that they wanted to add. So yeah, there's not a million miles between Doug and Simon and Terry and Cal, but they're sort of heightened versions of the actors that you're seeing. But that's why they play that's why they play it so well. Right.
And then you guys also brought in Bianca Katz, who's a Las Vegas native, from what I read.
That's right. Yeah, we cast quite a few Las Vegas locals. So we brought in a couple of actors who we worked with before, who we always enjoy working with, and who do a good job for us. So Al Sapienza, who people might know from The Sopranos or House of Cards, and Peter Woodward, who people might know from The Patriot, or if you're a sci-fi fan, from Babylon 5. They're based in Los Angeles, so it's not difficult for them to come down to Vegas for a couple of days. But we cast quite a few of the roles locally, and Bianca Katz was someone who came down and auditioned for us, and she was great. And so it was almost from the moment that she walked in, we thought, yeah, she's the perfect Helen. And yeah, I'm very pleased that her and Simon have good chemistry on screen. But also, I'm pleased with what we did with the story of. I don't want to give too much away, but the story of Cal and Helen. It's not your typical sort of love story. You don't have to. I feel like there are things that you don't always have to pay off in a film, just to still, benefit from the relationship. And yeah, she was great. Yeah, Vegas native, and we're looking forward to working with her again.
Right. And in the sequel that I assume is coming, since you hinted at it in the credits, Doug is going to be the Lothario in that one.
Well, again, I just play myself.
Well, we do actually have. So there is a follow-up in the works, which is not. It's going to be a standalone. It's going to follow on from it, although it will be a standalone film. And I'll probably give away the. If I tell you the title, then I'll be giving away who they're looking to dig up. But the working title at the moment is Stealing Elvis.
Well, that's what you hinted on in the credits, but I was trying not to give away.
We did hint at this in the end credits, Paulie.
Yeah.
No, I know, but now you can find, yeah. But now you can find, for instance, now we've started to look for locations and that sort of thing. So we put it on IMDb. Stealing Elvis is in pre-production at the moment.
Well, beautiful.
And we'll be shooting it.
And Doug, who's your ideal love interest for Terry in that one?
Marissa Tomei. Oh, sorry, Simon. I meant to say Simon. It just came out as Marissa Tomei.
Listen, all royal families have some incestual line, because we remember back in World War I, all the ruling classes were cousins using the peasants fighting each other. Don't bring that back into the 21st century from the start of the 20th century.
Yeah, Dad.
Shut up, son.
The Russian Tsar had said at the beginning of World War I, if Grandma was still alive, we wouldn't be fighting right now. So,
yes.
Yeah.
No, we are definitely looking forward to this follow-on movie, and we're going to get to work with it. You know, COVID's really been a bit of a challenge, and I think we're finally seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. The UK is doing much better than the United States right now, and that might spring Paul early because he's in London, as you know, and we're looking forward to getting to work on it.
Right. We'll bring Paul back over to the sunshine.
That's right.
Yes, please. Yeah, right. We shot Stealing Chaplin at I think it was November into December 2019, so it was pre-lockdown. And usually, anytime we're shooting a movie in November or December, it means I'm up to my knees in snow, or there's freezing cold winds, or something like that. This time, I was in Vegas wearing shorts in the sun, so it was no great hardship, I can tell you.
Yeah, the last time something like that happened in November, you know, my friend's cousins on the East Coast were complaining, and he showed them a down palm leaf here in California saying, yeah, we're suffering too.
Yeah.
And then I complained, you know, I had to wear socks a certain day. So that sort of thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they say nurses have it tough.
You know what? I'm the one doing. No, I was gonna make that joke, but someone will clip that out and say, "Did you hear what he said against nurses?" I was going to say I'm the one really doing God's work, but no.
I think with clever editing, we can still make that work because you still said the line.
I still said the line, but I'm wagging my finger along with it. So
CGI is cheap.
This is true. You know, Ken, you're organizing Wayne Newton for this. Which Elvis impersonator are you going to get? Like, you know, are we going to find out that the Elvis they steal is really the impersonator that they buried, like all the conspiracy theorists? And then just, you know,
I really have no comment to that one. We have to wait and see. But yes, we are hoping that Wayne, who happens to be one of the nicest guys in the whole world, will honor us with his presence. We're definitely we want to use Lauren, his daughter, because she was in the movie as well.
She played Janice, correct?
Yes, yeah. She played the other waitress, and Kat, his wife, was the news announcer at the cemetery, and so we are hoping and praying that we'll be able to get Wayne again. And we've got a few different ideas at a few different budget levels, and we're just going to have to see where the finances and the inspiration from Doug takes us.
Okay. So we have Stealing Chaplin. We're looking to steal Elvis. Who are we stealing afterwards in the franchise?
Marilyn Monroe.
Marilyn Monroe. That's a good one, actually.
You didn't like Bin Laden? Stealing Bin Laden?
I can't swim.
You will learn, Doug. That'll be part of the prep for the movie.
But before even that, Doug, you're from an island nation. How can you not swim?
Oh, people in England don't tend to swim. We don't go out of the house much in general.
Well, I interviewed a Dubliner filmmaker, and they were under lockdown for so long that they only had a 2.5 kilometer grace period to travel from the home. Were you guys that bad for a while, Paul?
Things were pretty bad. I mean, even when you were under restrictions, you're obviously allowed to go and shop for food and that kind of thing. But things are gradually opening back up now. So now we're in the stage of restaurants and pubs are open if you can, as long as people are sat outside. So if there's a beer garden or if they've got outside seating, people can go and do things. And more people can meet in bigger groups now and that kind of thing. So it's gradually opening back up. But the thing that's really been annoying for me is the international travel restrictions, because we tend to shoot all of our stuff either in the US or Canada. So it's been a bit restrictive not being able to leave the UK. But then at the same time, we had post-production on a couple of things to do. So Chaplain and a vampire TV show that we produce. So yeah, you know, we've not been sat on our laurels, but I'm quite looking forward to getting back to shooting as soon as possible, especially with these guys, because it's always fun to film with these guys.
Well, I can tell that you guys had a great deal of fun on the film. You know, making it, I can only imagine. Hopefully, you guys will be nice enough to allow me to come to the set visit for Stealing Elvis, the working title one. We'll find out what that's. Well, thank you, Simon. I really appreciate it.
Write that down. Somebody got to remember to get a hold of them.
Let me put it on this piece of paper.
Right.
Yes.
It's all right.
I need another script, Doug. I just ripped that one up for comedic effect.
It's all right. When the English Premier League starts back up again and Scotland beats England one more time, you know, then we'll have some more.
I hate to say this, but, you know, we could use you maybe as a Joe Piscopo.
Oh, wow.
Joe Piscopo.
I remember Joe Piscopo.
There's a resemblance that I see there.
Okay. Yeah. I just want to do a set visit, but hey, if you want to throw me in the flick, I'll take it.
Joe Piscopo,
I don't know who. It's not my generation. Dad, do you know who Joe Piscopo is?
He's a bit young for me, son. I don't follow the young'uns around.
Him and Eddie Murphy were the great comedy duo in the early '80s of Saturday Night Live before Eddie Murphy blew up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he had a huge bit about "I'm from Jersey," and that lasted for about 3 years of just talking about how he was from New Jersey and wished everybody else was.
Yeah, he did great Frank Sinatra impersonations too.
That he did, actually.
That's why Ken knows him.
That's right.
So I mean, the idea sprung to your head. You know, did you read an article or a book about this, or saw the documentary, and you're like, you know, I have to figure out a way to steal Chaplin in modern times?
No, honestly, right. I had the idea in my head that I was going to call it Checkpoint Charlie, and I was going to make it a serious movie set in 1977 Switzerland, and it was going to be straight, like it was going to be a normal movie, sort of not a comedy, as it were. But then it is so ridiculous, and nobody seems to know about it, that I was wondering for ages how it would be. It was one of those ideas you have rattling around, but you don't know how to do it. And then, so it was sort of conversations, sort of with Paul about how it would happen. And then we took that idea, like resetting it modern day, making it a comedy. And then Doug was very obvious, the choice, because family, sort of. So because he's my dad, and I have to throw him a bone like that before we put him in the home. He
taught you how to tie your shoes, and now you have to do it for him from the arthritis. I get it.
Yeah.
There's one line in there, or a bit of a scene in there, and Doug steals it with how he talks about Robert Downey Jr. being a better Chaplain than Chaplin because he could hear him talk.
Hear him, right?
I had to pause the film because I was rolling just from that line, because Downey did a phenomenal job as Chaplain in the biopic. If we remade the biopic today with a younger actor other than Downey, who would you choose today?
Simon.
What was that, Doug?
Simon. I'm contractually obliged to say Simon.
Boy, that's a good question.
Yeah.
That is a good question. Now, don't get me wrong. I think I could rock the Hitler tash, although it's falling out of popularity, I'll have to admit.
Right. Yeah. All right. So the big question then, since we are talking about Charlie Chaplin in this film, and I can't give away more than the, fraudulent license plate from a different state, and Doug having one of the funniest lines in the movie, what is everybody's favorite Charlie Chaplin film?
Great Dictator.
Great Dictator. Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah. So it had to be a talkie, no less.
Yeah.
Well, I think YouTube has probably made a younger audience more aware of the talking stuff, definitely, because the Great Dictator does have that speech that's become, very ubiquitous on YouTube. Rightly so, because it's very moving. I think there's one where someone sort of set it to stirring music with some, a lot of visual imagery with there as well. But you're always going to have hardcore fans will love the earlier stuff. But yeah, I think for me, The Great Dictator is just like, it's a great performance, and it has something to say as well. How about you guys?
Well, I think that a lot of times people say The Great Dictator because it's one single movie you can point to. But if you take a look at his volume of work collectively as The Little Tramp, you know, it's not like you can pick your favorite Little Tramp movie, but everything that he did there. And when you consider that he was doing that during a very dark financial period in this country, and how many people had their lives brightened by him daily, it's phenomenal. And you can see it by the amount of money here. I mean, it was absolutely crazy. And I think that's what he'll always be best remembered for. But the picture is Great Dictator, because that's the one everybody can point to readily.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to be the dissenter in this one, and I'm going to go with The Kid.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. You know, they created the Coogan Law because of it. You know,
Right.
Jackie Coogan was a part of it. Early child actor, eventually became Uncle Fester. His grandson Keith Coogan is an actor as well. Simon's put himself on mute because he's cursing my existence at this point. So
you're just wrong. I don't know how to. Who is this guy? Isn't coming to set. He's not coming to set.
Yeah. Gentlemen, when all is said and done, a picture that took 10 days to film that you would have never guessed in Las Vegas. The desert scene looked like you guys were just outside of Laughlin, which is 2 hours outside of Las Vegas, but that's what it looked like to me. I don't know where you guys filmed that desert scene. Wayne Newton's backyard. Wayne Newton's in the film. You know, the notion of stealing Charlie Chaplin. It's May. California might get to the yellow tier, whatever the hell that means. England's about to open up, and the sun will shine for a good 35 seconds, and Paul can get his sunburn real quick. What is the great takeaway from sitting down and watching Stealing Chaplin?
Oh man, I think it's a good dark comedy caper that it doesn't take itself too seriously. And you know what? After the year that we've all had, I think everyone just needs a bit of entertainment and something that we're not asking people to think too much. We're just asking people to be entertained, and I think the film does that in buckets.
Yeah, I like the fact that Doug really developed the characters. It's pretty quick. The audience will immediately relate to and understand the characters, and then the love between the two brothers, which transverses the entire film. And so everything that is, it can be more funny because down deep they actually do love and care for each other.
Yeah.
In real life or in the film?
You acted well. No, in real life. And we all do like each other in real life. We actually hang out together.
That's fantastic. And Ken, you're in Vegas, correct?
Right now I'm in Wisconsin. But I'm going to be heading back to Las Vegas probably within the week.
Perfect. Hopefully I'll get to see you when I'm out there in mid-May.
I'd love it. Just give me a call. We'll get together, have dinner.
All right. I'll make sure the publicist hooks that up for us. Doug and Simon, since you guys are father and son working together on this, what does the rest of the family say when the two of you get together with this? And Simon, what does mom say about you working with dad?
Yeah, mom doesn't like dad at all, which is why she's not in the picture at the moment, sort of. So yeah, dad is probably destined to die destitute and alone in the home that we put him in shortly. And that's what everybody wants who knows Doug, So I'm sick of these people that are just going to jump on the "we hate Doug" bandwagon when I've been hating him for many, many years before that. So it's just because it's popular now.
Oops. There we go. Oops. Something happened. I think, wait.
You muted me for some reason.
Because I clicked the wrong.
For good reason.
No, Doug, please have your retort.
There really isn't one. His mother's a horrible woman. It's all I've got to say. I mean, they threw me out. They moved me to Canada. I mean, what sort of people do this? I'm in Canada.
From the fog to the frozen tundra.
Right.
Yeah. Well, you know, your King George at one point tried to tax us for tea, which we didn't like. And so we only left you with the frozen tundra. So Canada still belongs to you guys.
Right.
Yeah. But
Hope
gentlemen,
you're enjoying it.
Cold.
that's what happens when they leave you in Saskatchewan.
Don't tell me where I am.
And I'm only 20 minutes south of Lambeau Field, so I'm close. It's a terrible day today, but that's all right.
Well, you guys have done something right with this film. It's been fantastic chatting with you. I'm blown away by the fact that it was only 10 days when Stealing Chaplin was filmed. Paul, Simon, Ken, Doug, thank you so much for your time. Simon, since you conceptualized this and you have the DVD readily available in hand, the final word goes to you.
I hope that people watch the movie and make us lots of money.
And before I let you go with the DVD being released in May, where can we find everybody on social media if they have social media and would like to connect with the audience?
Oh, so follow us at Dystopian. If you search for Dystopian Films on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, then you'll find us. And just give us a follow there, and that way you can keep up to date with not just Stealing Chaplin, but all of our other projects, Age of the Living Dead, and The Nights Before Christmas, and everything else that we're doing.
Fantastic. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. It's been a pleasure. Stealing Chaplin is a hilarious dark comedy that I definitely need to watch again.
Please
Thank you very much.